Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here from Cult Classics and Cult Following. And what's going on? We just watched the first two episodes of WANDAVISION on Disney Plus. And if you're just like us, you watch them too, and you're like, I need to find out what's going on here. So welcome to the weekly What's Happening on WandaVision. And we're going to go over episodes 1 and 2 in this video. And we've got some theories, we've got some ideas, so we're going to break this down. My name is Victor. I'm your local comic geek, TV guy, pop culture expert, whatnot. I'm going to break down what we think is going on WandaVision. All right, so first off, let's go through episode 1, WandaVision, which starts off, and it's very much black and white, 1950s. I Love Lucy, we've got the whole laugh track going on here. And in this one, we've got Scarlet Witch and Vision who are going about their day, and they're looking at their calendar, and they're trying to figure out what's up with that heart on their calendar for August 23rd. And the first thing we're realizing here is, doesn't really seem like Scarlet Witch and Vision know too much about what's going on in the world. Like, oh, what is it, our anniversary? Is it a birthday? There's just a heart there. I don't know. Is there a special occasion? What's going on? And I think this is where we're kind of like, the TV world we're in is clearly some kind of Truman Show, bubble universe, alternate dimension kind of thing going on. First glance, we'll get into this more, and as we're going around, let's see here. We find out that Vision works at a company where he does computational services because, the premise of this sitcom is, Vision is a robot pretending to be a human, just like Scarlet Witch is a witch pretending to be a human. It's kind of like, My Living Doll meets like Bewitched, but it's like in the 50s. And it's kind of fun. And, we find out here that the heart is, it was an abbreviation because Mr. Hart, Vision's boss, wants to have dinner with him and the wifey to find out if he's promotion material. So yeah, that's kind of like the Pat sitcom plot. Seems very I Love Lucy-ish. And he expects like a fancy dinner because we find out the last employee who, gave him a 5-course meal and everything, got his ass fired. And meanwhile, while this is going on, Agnes, their neighbor on her right, not their right, she introduces herself to Wanda, and she's like, well, clearly heart means it's a wedding anniversary. So they go through a whole rigmarole, just like the Pat sitcom plot of like, plan a funny anniversary. They fall down for him, and, we're going to plan a dinner. And then there's a commercial break, which we see a commercial for the Stark Industries Toastmate. And the reason it's a fun little joke, like, Stark would probably make a toaster or something, but you'll notice the light on the toaster is in color. And this is the first kind of like clue we're getting that the universe here is not right. This is the only thing we see that's in color, like, and it's blinking almost like a beacon or something. All right, and then, we go through the whole farce of the dinner, like, it's a Sokovian greeting, and it's all cheesy. I enjoyed all this stuff, and like, he's kind of like, Vision's kind of being like Dick York, covering up for, Samantha's whole deal on Bewitched, like, she's just weird, and then there's the whole thing with the dinner. It's all very funny. It's so Sokovian. That was a funny line, and I liked the vaudeville vibe of that one. I got my notes here, so that's what I'm looking down. So while this is all going down, Vision's about to get fired, and then in the end, Wanda magically whips up breakfast for dinner because it's European, and that was a good punchline save. And while they're having dinner here, the Hearts, and nice prop of having the mom from that 70s show playing Mrs. Hart, and his boss start kind of like egging them like, what's your story? Who are you? And then Wanda and Vision like really don't remember how they got married, who they were, or anything. And he's really pushing them to the point where he starts choking on his food. And at this point, he's about to die until Wanda tells Vision to save him, and he phases and pulls the food out of his esophagus. And that's kind of like where we know, well, Wanda, we know at this point, is clearly in on the fact that wherever they're at, it's not real. And Vision is clearly not. And we notice as we pan out from this Twilight Zone-esque thing, you know, and I don't want to rush through it because I do like the part where, like, their song is clearly yakety yak and they have wedding rings and everything. But you notice, then the show ends and their faces are surrounded by a hexagon. All I'm going to tell you guys is if you read comics or if you play the Marvel Avengers game, that hexagon is the logo for Advanced Idea Mechanics, which if you've seen Iron Man 3, is the organization that Killian ran. So it's all the way possible that Advanced Idea Mechanics is somehow responsible for this TV universe that Wanda is in, or something happened and that's the scenario here. So you'll notice, because this hexagon thing is also very prevalent in episode 2. And I'm just saying, keep your eyes open. And we'll talk about episode 2 and the AIM thing there in a minute too. But the one other thing I want to say is at the end of episode 1, you'll notice when the TV pulls back from the remote, put it down, look at the side of the TV. On that TV, there is a sword logo. And you're like, sword? What is that? Look at the thumbnail I posted, and then it's to the right of Vision's face. Sword is the Sentient World Observation and Reconnaissance Division. This is basically Space Shield. And you're wondering, what? Well, if you saw the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, where Nick Fury and the Skrulls had their little conversation, and Nick Fury is up in outer space, there's no more shield. Nick Fury is the head of Sword, and this is what's going on here. We don't have shield anymore in the MCU. This is the intro for Sword, and this plays more in episode 2. Episode 2, which I enjoyed a lot more than episode 1. It's way more bewitched and very cool. You know, Wanda and Vision are sleeping in their separate beds, very like old TV sitcom, blah, blah, blah. When we hear the banging on the window, I'm like, what is that? What is that? And it's, you know, again, it's kind of cheesy and trying. We see this later on when the next day Wanda goes out and she finds that little helicopter that's in color, or helicopter, it's a drone, you guys. It's a drone. And once she picks it up, go back, freeze frame that thing. It's got sword logos on it. Boom. Right there. Sword. Now, I will say, I really liked the animated Bewitched intro for this episode too. It was really cute. The one thing you'll notice now is their town they're in is now called Westview. And I want to say one thing here. When they go to the men's meeting here, or when Vision wants to join the neighborhood watch, that building he runs into is on the WB Studios backlot. If you watch the 60s Batman TV show, that same building is Gotham Police Headquarters. Here it's like a, whatchamacallit, a library, but it's kind of cool they're using the backlot, which means like the buildings they're using are also probably on the ranch set that they use for like Pretty Little Liars and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, for where they're living. So I think that's kind of cool. Or it's on the Warner Ranch. So anyway, this is the WB backlot. So just so you know. Okay. All right. So we have another meeting with Agnes here, who's trying to get Wanda like keyed into like what to do in this little town, and she gets to meet Dottie, and the meeting they have in the pool club is a very reminiscent of the women's group in the Stepford Wives. And it's this whole episode is about the importance of conformity, especially like for the children, how they all chanted at the same time. Try to think of the Cornetto trilogy and the World's End, how everybody's like the greater good. That's kind of the vibe here. And I want to say Emma Caulfield does a great job as Dottie in this whole episode. It's really good. Now, the reason that Sword Beacon is important is you realize, if you think about it, Sword is probably trying to get into this bubble universe. And so the beacon was probably like their first step in here. So just laying the groundwork. We also meet Geraldine, who is Wanda's new friend, who's also kind of an outsider like her. And she makes a good friend for her. And, the whole gist of this episode is about the fundraiser for the children. And you realize that their Vision and Wanda's act is called Illusion and Glamour. And you realize in this episode that Vision is a couple of times getting the picture that things are not right. And Wanda knows that Vision knows things aren't right. So she like rewinds time or changes the subject, because Vision in this world is an illusion, because Vision is dead. You notice even Vision still has the mind gem on his forehead, which he shouldn't have because Thanos ripped it out when he died in Infinity War. So it's kind of like her recollection of his consciousness is my theory at this point. And this is a bubble universe that she's using to kind of keep him alive, the way in House of M, she used that bubble universe to keep the memory of her kids alive, So yeah, working theory. That's kind of what I think there. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and the whole thing with Vision's works getting gummed up was hilarious, and kind of how that whole thing super fun. I enjoyed that a lot. But then I don't want to like gloss over this. You notice now the commercials are starting to get a little more sinister. Like in the first one, it was the Stark toaster. Now it's a Baron von Strucker watch, and it's Hydra powered. Just saying, the simulation's starting to break. And you'll notice when Dottie's hand breaks, and even Dottie knows something's wrong with Wanda, and then that Help Me Rhonda turns into Help Me Wanda, and it shatters, and then suddenly it goes back to the illusion. So that's the working theory right now. Let's see. Gum has messed up his works for the children. Oh yeah. So at the beginning of this episode, after the whole tree incident, Wanda and Vision fuck. And at the end of the episode, they're kind of celebrating, and Wanda is mystically pregnant at the end. But before, we get through all that, Vision has a little bit of an issue here. And stuff rewinds because he hears a noise outside. And when they go outside, they see a manhole cover. And a guy in a beekeeper suit comes up with a sword logo in his back. Sword logo on his back and a beekeeper suit. If you look up, Google, AIM and beekeeper, you will see that people in advanced idea mechanics all wear beekeeper suits. If you pause that guy in that beekeeper suit looks an awful lot like Paul Bettany. And as soon as Wanda zooms in and she goes, no, she rewinds back, and we skip this whole sequence, and the world turns to color. All I'm going to tell you now is this is what kind of has me convinced that AIM has something to do with this. The AIM beekeeper guys have something to do with this. And the fact that there's a sword logo lets me think AIM has nothing to do with Hydra in this scenario and is just maybe a think tank that had an idea of how to bring Vision back, and that idea went awry, and now Sword is kind of trying to break through this simulation and pull Wanda out because they don't know what's going on. That is my working theory 2 episodes in. If you guys have your own theories, what you guys think, let me know. But that's kind of what I think, especially with how 2 days have passed and we're kind of just jumping a lot of time. And you can tell like Vision's having a hard time with this right from the get-go. So I think he's in the dark. Wanda knows what's up, is trying to keep him in the dark. I don't know what's going on with the people in Wellview. Like, are they people she's kind of turned? Is this like a Twilight Zone psychic kid kind of vibe thing? You know, like that's a good terrible thing you did. Or if maybe these are like life model decoys or something. I don't know yet. That we have to wait and see. But that is my working theory, kind of where we're at right now, is that Vision doesn't know what's up. Wanda kind of knows what's up. Has something to do with AIM, and Sword is trying to figure out what's going on from the outside. If you guys disagree with me, if you guys think I'm off base, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you think. But that's where we're at. 2 episodes into WandaVision. We'll be back next week with my breakdown on episode 3 and see what we think there. But until next time, this is your pal Victor saying, keep tuning into WandaVision, subscribe, like, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next week for more WandaVision. So thanks, guys. Later.